Welcome back to another episode of Muse where we talk about anything creative. And you have your host, Ezra,
And
Nasim, and we got a guest.
Jane.
Would you like to introduce yourself, tell a little bit about yourself before we get started?
My name is Jane, and I am a multimedia artist. Mostly I do acrylic painting, but I also do a little bit of everything just because why not?
That's fire. And why we have you right here, tell them your Instagram where they can follow you and support you.
My Instagram is it's Jane, so AWITS JANE, and I have a website on my Instagram page, so you can look at my website for my work, and that's about it. I don't have too much.
That's exciting. And today we're talking about how is art therapeutic. So I think it's an interesting conversation. Have you guys ever had therapy before?
I would say like growing up I had therapy like here and there, but I feel like it was never really like useful for me, or I never really like related to it. So I feel like my first form of therapy is actually like more recently when I was able to communicate more through my art. So I would say now. How about you, Jane?
I am in therapy currently, and I have been in therapy since I believe 2020 or 2021, so a while now, and I'm still going every bi-weekly. So I do go to therapy, and it has been very helpful for me. And it's just nice to like talk to someone that's like not your friend or your family member about things, and I think it's helpful. Sometimes you feel good afterwards, and sometimes you don't. But it's a hit or miss,
for sure.
You never know what happens in therapy. But I think it works for some people, and I think it doesn't work for some people. I think people can still try. It really depends on you and what you feel the best that works for you.
I would say I'm uber biased towards therapy because I've been in therapy as a kid, and I'm in therapy to this day. So, for sure, I definitely value therapy a lot. I can definitely like relate to a lot of things you were saying, and I just think that personally, I just think it's like beneficial for anybody. You know, I don't think it's really pullbacks, especially when you find a therapist that matches your vibe and really understands you and tries his best to understand you.
I mean, I feel like a lot of times when it comes to therapy, though, I feel like it sometimes has to relate to your form of communication. So, like, yes, I do agree that a lot of people can benefit from traditional therapy with talking it out. And I feel like some people need, like, music therapy or art therapy where they can dwell into something in a creative practice instead of just talking it out, because not everyone are talkative people. So I definitely think there's a different, there's a balance of what people need and what people have out there for you to achieve.
I would like to second that, because like when I was a kid, when I was in therapy, it was definitely very creative. Like we used to do a lot of things like draw and paint and things like that, and like use those as outlets to express yourself and whatever you was experiencing at the time. Like I remember when I was a kid, we made a whole comic book where I was designed all these comic book characters, and like of course I didn't want to redraw them because I'm a lazy fuck, but I would just like print it out, and like we just make like dialogue just expressing what I was going through, and it was definitely a creative process. Now it's very different. It's just over FaceTime, you know, because of COVID, it made everything worse.
100% I agree. I feel like art therapy is also a good art alternative for people who can't really like speak to someone. Maybe someone has like speech problems or something like that. I feel like art therapy is a really great alternative for people who don't feel comfortable talking to someone. And art therapy is so like broad because there's like so many different types of art. So like music, traditional 2D art, performing arts and stuff like that. So yeah.
I have a question though. Like, through any of your works, do you feel like you got over a hard time or a rough time through creating work?
I feel like usually that comes afterwards. I would get through a hard time, and then the art happens afterwards.
Agreed.
I feel like I'll just go through what I go through, and then a lot of my art is related to my experience, so I feel like that comes out naturally because that's just something like I think about and I experienced. So I feel like that just comes out after what I go through. So in a way, it's like the art doesn't necessarily help me get through the hard things or stuff like that. It's more so like it helps me reflect on what I've been through, and it's a way for me to like reflect and also think about what I've been through and what I've overcome. So it's a nice like reminder that, you know, we got this. Like no matter what happens, like you'll make through it.
It's good. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. Do any of you guys ever like consume art, I guess, to get through any type of like challenge or overcome anything in your lives?
I do believe like
New York City,
I do believe like New York City. That's where we're based, just in case y'all didn't know. But I do believe music is a big one that I get, because music for like I feel like you listen to it regardless of if you want to or not. It's always playing, and I feel like it's the easiest way to communicate emotions with, because you know it's words, but it's also melodies, and we also relate to those patterns a lot easier than, let's say, like a painting on a canvas. Yeah. So I believe that's a big one for me, which is why I also cutted music out completely at times, because I didn't want any influence on me.
That's very interesting. I'm like the exact opposite. When it comes to music, I definitely use music a lot to get out of any type of just bum I'm in, but I definitely like to find music that's relating to how I'm feeling at the time or how I want to feel, you know. So I definitely really enjoy, you know, just listen to a lot of music to help me out in any situation like that.
Yeah.
I also rely on music a lot. I feel like music is the art form that helps me get through tough times, because sometimes it's really relatable. Interesting, like I also have to cut out music when I'm making art, because I feel like
me as well.
It's very like, I feel like I can't multitask and like listen to music and also make artwork. I feel like I feel the emotions of the song, where like I'm paying attention to the song and not paying attention to my work. Yes. I recently transitioned into either silence or podcasts. Yeah.
So you think the music sometimes, like, you think it may have influence over your work over time?
For sure. It could be, and also it could be very distracting, in my opinion. So I love music. I like listen to it on my daily walks and stuff like that, but I feel like I used to have like a playlist for like painting, and I just realized that I would get frustrated because I'm like distracted by the music. Yeah. So like I just kind of like stopped listening to music unless I really want to hear something, but I love like podcasts now.
Oh, that's what's some podcasts that you listen to that doesn't distract you too much?
I listen to this podcast by this person named David So. He's like a Korean YouTube content creator, and he just like invites his friend, kind of like us, like and just talk about like a bunch of things, and then it's just really nice because I'm just like listening to like hearing people's experiences with like relationships or like some cultural stuff that I feel like I can relate to. Yeah. And it's just nice to have something play in the background because like I'm not like super committed to it, and I could just go to the bathroom or whatever and then come back and then can still tune into what they're saying. And
that's super cool. Ezra introduced me to him in his podcast.
Great.
Wait.
I'm pretty sure that's the same guy.
Is it the Genius Brain podcast? That's his podcast name. No?
Dang.
You're talking about someone else.
I'm talking about someone else. My bad.
You're talking about David Cho.
I know that's what she just said.
I said so.
Oh my days! It was so
Cho,
close.
David Cho is.
I'm like, why isn't
artist.
Ezra like? Ezra, you really heard it? Cause I was like, why isn't Ezra not reacting? Like, dude, I do.
That's why I said. That's why I said. Oh, but I was like, he doesn't have a podcast. But that actually does. It's funny because he has a TV show, the Cho Show, which is big on therapy, where he does a portrait of an artist, and throughout their experience of life, he changes the portrait. So it's a good show to look at. I feel like it does. I feel like it does a lot with art therapy.
Yeah, it's very related to art therapy. And I think that he also expresses about different things that he went through and how he used art to like...
interesting life experience.
Yeah, express that. That's interesting. So, like, if you had to be, I guess, challenged with the ability of making art through your struggles within, like, therapy, would you ever, like, want to do that? Like, want to make art, like, throughout your, like, therapy or whatever?
Actually, no.
No,
I actually wanted to do art therapy as a profession, but I just have to study more, and I was like, I'm tired of school, and I didn't want to do more. But I feel like, that's a good question.
I mean,
to rephrase it a little bit, do you all ever use like art to express different feelings that are pretty therapeutic, like love and like
but
self.
At the moment you're asking, or just
at the
period?
moment, like you like, for example, like I experience love through our relationship, whatever. Me personally, I get inspired deeply. So when I'm like writing a song or just coming up with something that I really want to do, I just dig deep, like you said, into your past, and you just dig out things like, oh, okay, I really respected this relationship because of this, that, and the third, and I pulled this and I learned that. How can I put this into a song? Can I put this on a canvas? Things like that.
I mean, I know that what I like to do is, well, I feel like there's two ways. So there's one that I deal with daily challenges and daily problems. And when it comes to that approach to art, I like to I don't know if that's actually valid. So I would say that if it comes down to things I'm going through in the moment, I like to write down the idea that I'm feeling. Like, I feel like this will communicate this. I don't know why. I feel like my life is wired to think about how I can benefit off of my own pain. But I'm like, okay, this can communicate, this can communicate, so I write it down.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to like overall experience, sometimes I like to look at what I'm experiencing at like throughout life and bring back those feelings. And then sometimes I even put myself through those feelings again to recreate that moment so I can really put my all into a piece.
Yeah. I know you said, like, your mom asked you a couple times, like, Ezra, why don't you ever, like, draw pretty things? Like, draw pretty images. Like, what makes you not draw pretty images? You said, like, you sometimes look into your own pain. So, like, what makes you want to feel more inclined to express that? Is that therapeutic to you?
I mean, I feel like I said, like, you can only share what you know.
Okay.
And I feel like, for me, maybe things are not beautiful yet. Maybe when I'm like 40 or something, I might look back and you know what, it was beautiful, and I communicate it differently now. So I feel like you can only share what you know, which is why a lot of times you can tell when the artist is ripping off of things that they're not familiar with because it just feels empty.
I see.
And that's, I feel, is the best way to communicate that work is just using your own experience. I love that a lot
because it's all about perspective with you. Because perspectively right now, you might not be able to see the beauty in whatever you're experiencing, but in the future, it's always that opportunity to be able to see that.
Exactly.
You. That's super gorgeous. I love that.
How about you, though? Like,
bro, like, I would say this.
You've been ducking.
I've been ducking. I've just been asking questions, bro. I'm doing that Floyd Mayweather right now. I mean, with me, I would say, like, I definitely connect to pain within, like, my community or what I see. So when I'm making art or coming up with ideas and making thumbnails, I'm listening to music. I'm just consuming a lot of different things. For example, I like movies a lot. And I might be like, okay, this is like a struggle. And this struggle might relate to something that my family went through or someone close to me went through. And I want to be able to articulate that through this print or this photo or this song, you know? So like, I think that's more my type of way of connecting to things and want to express those things. It doesn't really always have to do with my own life. I would say music primarily, like, if I'm writing a song, I make a lot of songs about love and like different relationships or just relationships that never manifested, but how it inspired me and how I want to be inspired by a loved one and things like that. So I think that's very essential for me. I like how I just smirking at me.
Yeah, I agree. I love that. I mean, I know, like, I realize a lot of times with your art, you've been trying to pull from experiences, and I do love that. Now, there's a piece that you did, which I actually have a print of right there.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Is it Fatal Attraction?
Fatal Attraction.
Yeah, so that, like, should I go grab it for the camera? I'm going to go grab that.
Look at him slowing down the pod.
If you want to see.
Show the last camera. Just come on, you gotta show the last camera.
Yeah.
All cameras.
So, when it came to that piece.
Yes.
Tell me how you went about it, because I know it comes with a series. I know there's another one that you did after it relating to it. So I just want to know your approach on that.
I came up with this one. Most of my pieces are like very similar to you. Are inspired by my experiences. It's very personal, and it's most of the time something painful or something that hurts, and something that I'm getting trying to get over, and something that I'm like, oh, that happened, and just reflecting. So yeah, that came about one of the experiences / relationships I had that just ended, and I just wanted to like reflect on that. And I did another one to complement it, to show how much I've changed and all the new stuff I've experienced. So
that's great. And
it's funny because that one is very colorful, so people think it's very positive, and the other one is more
very like
calmer and
blue
duller,
and
then but that one's more positive. So there's like yeah, it's just I don't know how that happened, but it did. And
But I mean, that's great though, because I feel like sometimes it when you do like that, like I honestly, when I looked at it the first time, I saw the colorful, but I also saw chaos.
yes,
And alive, it came down to like, it's hard to understand, and when chaos is hard to understand, so that's why I was like, this is a beautiful painting, but I was like, damn, I feel like there's like chaos going on. There's this deep understanding that she's trying to find out through this painting.
yes.
And then when I saw the next one, I was like, this is more like, it's more calming. Like she found peace.
Yes, I also had this one girl who came up to me and really like, I felt like she was seeing through me, and she said the same exact things that like I was feeling when I made this, and it was kind of scary. But yeah, it's like the idea of like the crazy colors is kind of representing like emotions that maybe you can't really identify, or like the mixed emotions you feel, and then the calmer blues and purples and greens are more like the ease you feel after, you know, having something that's more stable and more, you know, peaceful. So.
And what did exploring, like doing that piece of work, how did exploring that piece of work help you within that situation, or what did it do for you? Like, did it bring you a new perspective within that whole situation while making that?
It just made me feel like, I'm like, damn, like I really made it through that, and that I've grown so much, because I didn't make that the moment I was feeling it, because when I'm feeling it, I'm feeling it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to do nothing but feel it. And just looking back at it, like, all my pieces, it's like, I've learned so much, and I've taken new things with me with what I've experienced, and that's just beautiful. That's just how life is.
That's
like,
lovely.
You know?
That's lovely. All right, so I got another question for you guys. What would you say is 3 good ways that art is therapeutic for you? Like just art by yourself. How does it make you feel? What does it help you with? In any way, how is it therapeutic for you? How is it beneficial for your mental health?
Well, I would say, because I did a lot of different mediums, I would say one is leaning into, or even crashing into, getting involved with working your hands and learning the process of things, because your mind is off of all those emotions. It comes back to just like, you're just like calming. It's just like you're trying to work how to get through this, just like how you're trying to work to get to life. It's kind of the same thing with a medium, except it's on a smaller scale. So I realized that helped me, because at first I feel like life came with a lot of problems, and these problems are like smaller to manage, so it gave me peace of mind.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. Another thing I would say was working on communicating. So I think a lot of times when making artwork, sharing feels better. And like you said, when she saw it through you, it was kind of scary. And ultimately, like when you put out art, you're kind of like, it's kind of scary. You're like, I got math, no one would know. And they're like, oh, this is what it means. You're like, oh shoot.
That's when you know you're doing something right, because that means you're fully connecting. And you know how we talk about how you know when you're fully inspired, because that work is a part of you. You know,
and it's releasing.
To it. Yeah.
It's releasing. So I feel like that's the second thing. And the third thing, honestly, I'm gonna have to come back to you. So do you have one? No, I'm thinking my third one.
You don't have to have 3. Just however many you can think about.
You have to have 3. First one is, I feel like I have a lot of similar answers to this. I feel like we're very
painting,
similar.
you know.
Something about the physicality of like working with your hands. I love like traditional forms of art. No shade to digital art, but
oh my days, I don't want to diss us like that.
Gio's sneezing right now.
Just like even when I did like other mediums, just the act of like using your hands, your smell, like just being physically present in like a space, and then like working, it's like so therapeutic, because you're not thinking about, I mean, you can think about other things, but for me, like I tend to like just focus on that, what I'm doing, and it's so therapeutic because I'm not thinking about anything else.
That's dope. That's
and it's
dope.
just like all the senses are involved, and I just love that. Like I just love diving deep into something, forgetting that to use the bathroom or forgetting to eat, and then like it's just something so beautiful about like being so in like just involved in something.
Yeah, and just like having like a healthy obsession with it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sometimes I don't know if it's healthy though.
Yeah, sometimes
it don't have to always be healthy.
Sometimes you gotta remember to eat a snack or something.
Yeah, I think another thing that I think I love about artwork, especially when it comes to like mental health, is just it builds a lot of self-confidence. You know, and I think because like when you're doing these things and you have like, for example, with like different pieces and people's connecting to it, you're connecting to it, and your vision is coming to life. it brings nothing but self-confidence. Being like, dude, I just did this. I just did this amazing work. And now you have the belief in yourself that you can do anything else. It only have to be art related. You know, I can get into real estate. You know, I can run a marathon. If I can do this, I can do anything, you know. So I think that being able to express yourself like you both are saying and have that expression and be successful definitely brings a lot of self-confidence.
Yes.
I agree.
Agreed.
She's brewing another question.
Do I continue I have 2 more.
Oh, yeah.
Are we not
Yeah,
doing
now
that?
she
Oh,
wants
no,
to
you
cut
can
her
do 2.
off.
You can do
Oh,
2.
okay.
I apologize. I had to make sure I got mine in
trying
there.
to-
While I had it in my head, I really apologize about that.
Don't apologize. You're good.
Yeah.
Second, I think it's also just the connection of the art. I feel like, you know, we make art for ourselves, but also I feel like oftentimes to connect with others and we want to be seen and we want other people to understand, like, feel what we feel. Like, we just want to feel related. I feel like when I make something and then someone tells me, like, oh yeah, I feel the same way, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's not just me, and, like,
Right.
other people feel this. That's very therapeutic in itself. And then just to be quick, the third one is like confidence for sure. Like, I feel like I always stress out every single time when I make a painting. I'm like,
Right.
I can't do this, it's gonna look ugly, it's gonna look like a disaster, it's gonna look trash. But then I'm like, after I do it, I'm like, damn, I did this.
Right.
And
It's
I'm
like that
okay.
meme where it's like when you first start, it's like, oh, this is going to be great. And then you get to it, it's like, this is going to be bad.
Right.
And it turns out wonderful.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and that feeling is just like, oh my gosh, like I did this. Like I spent this much amount of time doing this and it looks like something. Like it started out with
That's
nothing.
actually a
and
great take.
Like just the
I love that take.
feeling of like creation, like you made something. It's
True.
like,
Yeah.
like
A part of me realized when I look at a piece I made, I'm like, I gave away part of my lifespan to make that.
yeah.
Shit,
It's
dude.
part of yourself.
Oh,
like
he's going deep.
Right.
every piece I have.
Do you want me
bro,
to
that's
rob their house, bro? I'll get it back, dude. I swear.
Like I just realized, like every piece you make is like a part of yourself that you're giving out,
For
and
sure.
like a lot of times I know there's pieces that I've done that I felt a certain way that once I finished it I didn't feel that way anymore, and I look at it like that's actually an emotion right there. And people are like sometimes I don't sell work not because I don't like, it's not because I want to keep or anything, but because I feel like I don't want to give people my emotions.
I get that.
Yes.
I get that.
I have
Like-
a corner in my room full of like just my art that I do not want to sell, and I don't know what to do with it. I'm just like, I just don't want to give it away. I get very attached.
I feel like, yeah, because it comes down, like, when it comes down to, like, your pride in work, and, like, me personally, it comes down to just, I don't want to share my negative energy. Like,
Yeah.
I know, like,
It's not
I'm-
negative.
yeah, but, like, you see these right here? Like, these? I was afraid that anyone would buy them, because I feel like I would start getting them, like nightmares, not nightmares, but, this comes from, like, sleep paralysis. Like, sleep paralysis. So I was like, I didn't want people to start experiencing that after.
They started getting sleep paralysis.
Yeah.
And they're like,
That's actually interesting. That actually brings me to my last question. All right, this is the only last question I prepared. Like, all right, so you guys all did different things within your art, and y'all expressed different feelings. What is a feeling that you guys want to express in your art that y'all haven't, or y'all want to express more of?
celebration.
Celebration's a good one. That's a great word.
Yes. I also like feel that sentiment of like at some point I realized like maybe like a while ago I was like I kind of stopped, like I want to stop like painting or like making stuff that's like painful because it's like consistently like, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, you know, but I just felt like there's a lot to celebrate for, and there's a lot to be grateful for, and there's
sure.
a lot of things that I feel like I can explore that's not like painful or like hard. I mean, all the painful and hard things are important because
definitely.
it brings you to where you are now, but I want to do something that's more like celebratory and like joyful.
That's actually nice. And like what you just said, like when people connect to your work that is painful, when they can also see your work transfer over to something that's more celebratory,
Yes.
that's definitely very beautiful. Beautiful process.
I feel like for me, it would be love and contentment and fulfillment, because, which is kind of like contentment, but it's like, I think this is a better word, but I feel like I don't want to let go of the pain, mainly because, not necessarily for me, but I know I've seen things that was communicated with pain, and now I felt more comfortable with myself because I know other people experience it as well. So that's, I kind of still want to hold on to being, I guess, a sacrificial lamb in some points, because if I have been blessed with trying to communicate certain images and certain thought processes, I feel like I shouldn't let it go. But that doesn't mean I should add to it, which is like I want to add love and contentment with life and enjoying every minute of it. Because I realize like when it comes to art, I gain an obsession of wanting to keep getting better, wanting to keep getting better, and that also relates to my work when it comes to how I'm feeling. So I want to be able to share pieces that have that feeling of like belonging and understanding that I'm okay where I'm at now.
That's gorgeous. Now, for sure. I would definitely agree with the love, bro. That's what my answer was. Like, mine's is definitely love because, like, coming from the household, I come from a very loving household. And then, of course, God is loving. And, like, every time, like, I listen to songs, my favorite songs are love songs. Because a love song is the most powerful song when someone's expressing how they feel about somebody or their self or just life in general. That's just such a powerful thing. And, like, you know, since I've been loved and I want to love people the way that I have been loved and I receive love, I definitely want to be able to express that in all forms of artwork. Where something like, dude, when they experience it, they feel loved and they can have more self-love within themselves. Yeah. So I think that's definitely an essential goal of mine. Someday I'm going to get there.
You will.
I need to get like Whitney Houston. I need Whitney Houston's ghostwriters.
But I feel like this is a great podcast. We covered a lot.
I don't think we covered enough.
We did cover enough. We're gonna probably have a part 2 eventually, but
you was an awesome guest, Jane. I want to let you know that.
I really appreciate.
You're the first guest
the social again. Drop the social again.
Instagram is AwitsJane, AWITSJANE.
Is there any underscores?
Nope.
I'm gonna type it in correctly anyway. I'm the editor.
He got me.
If any of you guys want to know who edited is me, because this bum dude don't. I'm playing. Well, thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Muse, and tune in next week to get inspired and find your inspiration and find your muse.
Like, subscribe, comment. Like, subscribe, comment.
Hit that bell icon.
Like, subscribe, comment.
Yes.
Thank you guys. Have a good one.